I have a game to play with you.
Mm-hmm.
By this time last year, we had 3 movies that had broke $100 million. 3. We have only one, Captain America, and the top 10 box office for 2025 so far. You can probably guess what number 1 is if you would take a guess. Don't all speak at once because ads will show up.
Captain America?
What is it?
Is it Captain America for number 1?
It is Captain America.
Yeah.
Now,
really?
Captain
it has no competition.
That's
it's
depressing.
Yes. So that's an easy one. What now? Yeah. Now, knowing movies that have come out, what was number 2?
Oh, jeez.
So Captain America is number 1. Okay. These are the top 10 at the box office this year so far. And I'll get to my point when
is this domestic or
is it Dogman?
You guessed it, Epic Mike. It's Dogman.
Yeah.
It's 78.7 million. Dogman is number 2. Number 3, One of Them Days. Number 4, Den of Thieves 2. 5, Flight Risk. 6, Hard Eyes. 7, Paddington in Peru. Number 8, Wolfman at 20 million. Companion, number 9. And number 10, Neza 2 with 14.8 million. 2 billion worldwide, by the way.
2 billion.
This is pathetic.
Yeah. What happened to survive till 2025?
Pathetic, but not shocking. What are your thoughts about this? I mean, this is crazy. People are not going to the movies. Now, I'll say I can't blame them. I have never in my time doing this seen a weaker crop of films, at least doing this on YouTube, where Alan and I review, all the films that open in theaters. But how do we go Captain America? Okay, that's a given. Big Marvel movie. I mean, still a disappointment, but number 1, Dogman.
Yeah. So my kid reads the Dogman books. He was very excited to go see this movie, but I don't know. Like, I don't think it has universal appeal. It's by the same people that did Captain Underpants, but like that was a franchise that came out when I was like in like middle school. So like it had a pretty long, like a lot of longevity to like kind of get out there. So I'm kind of surprised Dogman didn't do better, to be honest. I thought it was kind of a layup. Like, okay, cool, man. It's a fun kids film. But the rest of them, that's a pretty awful line.
I mean, there, to be fair though, traditionally, this is the dead time of the year for film. Yeah. Like just traditionally. I mean, normally January through March is pretty it's pretty rough.
They're dumping grounds, yeah.
So I mean, I'm not surprised by any of these numbers, none of them. But at the same time, look, man, I've been saying this for a while now, man. Hollywood is basically living on vapors, man. Hollywood is a shell of what it once was. So I expect numbers to get even worse, to be honest with you. Like, I think people are just not going to the movies. They're not going. And number 1, there's nothing for them to see, right? But number two, and I'm going to keep stressing this, man. They are getting priced out. So why am I going to waste money on what might or might not be a good movie, spend a bunch of money, and then be pissed off after? And even if it's good, I'll still be pissed off because of how much money I spent. So I think Hollywood's look. We keep saying they're in trouble, but they've been in trouble for the past 5 years.
Yeah. Well, Rob Burnett. Hey, thanks RMB for joining us.
Hello, sorry I'm late.
No worries. So we're talking about the disappointing box office. I mean, by this time last year, there were 3 movies that had broke 100 million, right? And this year only 1. And number 2 at the box office, next to Captain America, is Dogman and some kind of middling movies. If you ask me, more than half these movies are streaming movies, if you ask me. But collapsing box office it's not looking good for the rest of the year, except with the exception of July and the big releases.
Well, I do think that there's a like, okay, Paddington in Peru is not on that list, right?
No, it is. Number 7. Yeah.
Okay, that's made 30, but that movie came out before, but it has made 36 million domestic. What I find interesting is I think we can't discount, like, by all accounts, Last Breath is quite a great film. It's based on a documentary. The director of the documentary directed this feature. You've got Woody Harrelson and Simu Liu starring in it. It's an action-packed, adventure about trying to save the life of one man. I think a lot of the problem with what we're seeing now is not necessarily, I mean, Mickey 17 is, people love it or people don't like it, but it's certainly got elements. I think the marketing of films, Companion, I saw Companion in the theater. It's great. I loved it for what it is at scale. I saw it with 5 other people in the theater, and it was the experience I had after it was over. All of us came out and we must have talked for a half an hour.